Who's that running through the forest with the moss farts? Hell, it's Swamp Thing. And did you know in 1991, not only did they do a Swamp Thing's cartoon, they did a lot of Swamp Thing merchandise. We're going to look at the Kenner action figure line and some more. Swamp Thing. Ask me about Swamp Thing, you know what I'll tell you? I say, hey, that's that movie I used to watch on HBO when I was sick home from school, and it had Maul's daughter in it. And that's about the only thing I remember. I know there was a sequel with Heather Locklear. Or was it Heather Thomas? I know it's Heather Locklear. You don't got to tell me in the comments. But Swamp Thing. I never really got into Swamp Thing. It was a cartoon in 1991. But by 1991, I was like, the only cartoon I care about is Batman the Animated Series. If it hadn't started yet in 1991, now you can tell me that in the comment section. I don't really care, but you can tell me that. I know it's somewhere around there. But Swamp Thing was back in 1991, no longer on the big screen. It was now on the small screen thanks to a cartoon with a weird opening jingle. It was like, Swamp Thing, I think I love you. Remember that song? Remember that song? But it wasn't Swamp Thing. Remember? What was it? I don't know. Here's the theme song.
Earth really needs you. Arcane is back for sure. So come on, fight for right. We need you, Swamp Thing. You are amazing. Oh, Swamp Thing.
As you can see, very, very odd. Well, Kenner released a toy line based on the cartoon, not the movie. Sorry, we didn't get the daughter of Maud. Or a Heather Thomas action figure. So let's dig into these Kenner line before we look at what else they made in 1991 related to Swamp Thing. Who, here's some trivia for you. His name is Steve. I didn't know that. Steve. Until he fell in a pool of swamp and became Swamp Thing. And we'll start with one of the bad guys, who I figure is a bad guy because he's ugly, but I guess I can't really tell because Swamp Thing's kind of ugly. Could be Swamp Thing's friend. His name's Anton. No, not Anton Fig. Anton a Crane. I'm sure I pronounced that wrong, and you'll tell me that in the comments section. But there he is. He seems to love purple. He has a purple spider that he comes with, and he's wearing a black suit, but he does have purple hands and a purple face. Here he is out of the package, showing all his beautiful purple to everyone that wants to see it. And then we have Bayou Jack. I know that word. What's wrong with me today? Bayou Jack, not Bayou Billy. Remember him? I think we all do. But here he is, the only African American in the line, I believe anyway. Don't hold me to that, but I think he is. And this really reminds me of that Joker. I mean, the tank looks like the Joker. It's a little different. Remember the Joker from the animated series? Batman. And it looks like that tank right there. These always have like a Jurassic Park feel to them also. I think if you had Jurassic Park figures, these could went along with them really good. Oh, I'm fighting a T-Rex, but now I'm fighting Swamp Thing. And there he is out of the package right there. Look at that gun. Looks really cool. And then you have, Evil Unman. What is Evil Unman? Looking at that one right there. We got Dr. Demento. Dr. Demento? I thought he was some guy on local television back in the 70s. Dr. Demo, right there, he comes with some kind of giant tick-looking thing. Looks like a little, I was going to say subway thing. Looks like a little Swamp Thing hanging from a noose. What gives with that? And he's wearing a top hat. Probably the coolest action figure ever wearing a top hat, if you don't count Kenner's Bill and Ted Abraham Lincoln figure. That's a cool one right there. Let's look at him out of the package. You can see his top hat up close, and he's got an earring and fangs. Who would ever have thought that? I know I sure wouldn't have. And then we have Skin Man. Oh, he's a man, but he's got skin all over his bones. He's Skin Man. Looks like something you might find in a swamp. There he is. He comes with this little, I don't know, is that a bat? I'm not really sure what that is, but I know one thing. It's Skin Man. And if I remember correctly, it fits on his head, right? Am I right? Let me know if I'm wrong. What does it say with Fang Bat mask, biomask? See, I was right about that. There he is, out of the package. Didn't get him with the mask on. Sorry about that. You'll have to go Google that yourself. But there he is, looking all green. Police are after somebody. Don't worry, they're not after me because I'm friends with J.D. Shellnut. And we all know he's the chief of police. I play cards with him. So let's move on here. We've got the glow in the dark. Awesome. I love glow in the dark stuff. Bio Glow Swamp Thing. Look at that. He comes with an axe and some kind of other little tool so he can kill people. It's Swamp Thing, but he glows in the dang dark. Bet you never seen nothing glow in the dark in the Swamp Thing. I bet you ain't never seen nothing glow in the dark in the swamp. I bet you never even been to the swamp. Oh, what's wrong with you? You're almost 50-year-old and you never spent the night in a swamp? Let's move on here. Here he is out of the package. Swamp Thing's all green. I don't know why the bottom part's not green. Maybe they ran out of paint. I don't know why they did him like that. I think, well, I know why they did. That way they could release one later. It was all green. Come on, Kenner, I know what you're up to. And then we have okay, here we go. Camouflage Swamp Thing. Comes with a branch. I don't know how fun that is. At least it looks like it might glow in the dark. A glow in the dark Blanche. No, not Blanche. Sorry about that. That's somebody from Golden Girls. Glow in the dark branch. Tree branch. Here he is out of the package. Sorry, I don't have a close up of his tree branch. But there he is. Well, he looks more like a dead tree than a swamp monster in this one. And then we have, yep, captured Swamp Thing. He's captured. Comes with a net to put him in. He's captured. And he comes with some kind of little hammer tool thing like some Indians made. I don't mean Indians like in the Middle East. I mean Indians. You know what I'm talking about. And then we have him out of the package right here. Look at that green, kind of a dark green color right there. And a net. Kenner was really good about releasing figures with a net. They love the net. And how about this one right here? A climbing Swamp Thing. This one can climb. Yes, with Bayou, staff, and shield of reed. The hell's a reed? I don't know. But he comes with it right there. Look at him. That's an ugly Swamp Thing. Let's be ugly. That's an ugly Swamp Thing. And then we have him out of the package right here. He's got a string tied around him. I guess he's using it as some kind of belt. I hate to tell Swamp Thing this, but he's not wearing any pants. And then we have, Snap Up Swamp Thing. Snake snaps all apart. Crazy. And he comes with a tree branch also. And this one's got some kind of little gun inside of it. You can see him out here. This one all green. See, I told you Kenner was going to release one all green. There he is, all green. I don't think I like this one as much as the other ones, to be honest with you. But then we have, Snare Arm Swamp Thing. His arm shoots out of this one right here. Pretty cool right there. Let's look at him out of the package. Somebody put his hand in backwards, but it looks really cool. I hope it glows in the dark, because it looks like it should. This thing here looks like a piece of kryptonite. One of Superman's ever fought Swamp Thing. I think they're both DC. What about the Toxic Avenger? I'm sure they mixed the Toxic Avenger with Swamp Thing. They've had to do that. They've had to. It writes itself. How about this right here? Tomahawk. Today, if you named the action figure Tomahawk, they wouldn't want to cancel you. Can't have fun anymore. Can't make fun of engines or anybody anymore. While people getting upset. But there he is. Comes with a big arrow pointing that way. I don't know what it's pointing at. And looks like it comes with a bow, I guess, for the arrow right there. Let's look at him out of the package. There he is. Looks kind of like a Rambo, don't he? I think Rambo should have sued. It was like, hey, you're not Rambo. You're an Indian. Okay. Then we have, what about this one right here? Weed Killer. I know a guy that would get mad if he saw some Weed Killer. There he comes with a big old spider with a bunch of legs and some kind of needle to give it a shot, I guess, right there. That's kind of crazy. And it all fits on his face also, like a mask. There he is right there, thanks to Rogue Toys, right there with the little bug next to him. The bug is next to him. But they didn't make just action figures in this line. They made accessories also, like this, the Bayou Blaster. That's right. Should have came with a banjo, but it didn't. It came with, I was going to say it came with a figure. It didn't come with the figure, but let's look at it out of the package. That looks like a lot of fun. Got to have tread wheels like that because you're rolling around the swamp. You don't want to get stuck in the mud. Trust me. Especially in the swamp of Alabama. You don't want to get stuck in the swamp Alabama mud. That's a whole nother video right there. Then we have the Rover. The Bog Rover for Swamp Thing to ride in. Isn't that cool? Let's look at it out of the package. That thing looks like a bunch of mess. But it looks like a fun mess to play with if you were a little kid into Swamp Thing. Then we have Marsher Buggy. Marsh, you gotta get through the marsh. Swamp Thing can't be walking through the marsh, get his toes all wet. So he has to ride this thing right here, and it's really cool. Got a big old branch or part of a tree on the front of it right there. Maybe it spins around, I think it does. I'm just guessing right here, but it's got 6 wheels on it. Again, you don't want to get stuck in the mud, especially if you're in South Alabama. Whew. And how about a swamp trap? Yeah, you gotta catch those humans coming into your swamp, right? They're trying to tear it down and build a Walmart. There you go. Look at that. It's not a very good looking playset. It's got some nice little daisy flowers right there. That's kind of a nice little touch. But I'm gonna boost it up a little bit. Let's be honest. And how about this one right here? Transdancer. Transducer maybe. Let's look at that on the package. Whoa, that's like some a mad scientist would have right there. But that was it for the Kenner line. Sadly, only one series. Now, there was plans for more, and I did a whole video on the unreleased one, and I'll link it in this video when these boxes in the corner. But we're not done. Don't click off yet, because they made more merchandise related to Swamp Thing back in 1991. You know who one of the companies was? Nintendo. Well, Nintendo actually didn't make it. THQ made it for Nintendo. You can see right here, Swamp Thing the game. This was kind of an odd game because this is Swamp Thing. You have to get him a job at an office, and he starts at a temp, and you have to make sure he gets hired on. I didn't understand the concept of the game. It was kind of weird. Then you had it for Game Boy, although they made this one a little different because this one takes place actually in the swamp. You're trying your best to stay clean. I know it didn't make any sense, but it's more than just games. There were also color by number set. Color by number set Swamp Thing. Crazy. You're gonna need a lot of green. And then you have a Swamp Thing board game. Board game of Swamp Thing. That's a lot of fun, I bet. Let's say Battle for the Bayou game. Then you have Swamp Thing pajamas. You think there was some kid out there really into Swamp Thing where he had Swamp Thing pajamas? Come on, it wasn't. Only the cartoon lasted like a year. I really thought this was going to be that much of a hit, but then they had the Swamp Thing slippers. I want to know the kid. One of you out there had it. You had the figures, you had the pajamas, you had the slippers, you had the color by number, you had the Nintendo game. You would Swamp Thing up to here. Bet your parents just go, oh God, I wish they canceled this. I'm tired of hearing about Swamp Thing. Bet you talked about it all the time. Swamp Thing did this, Swamp Thing did that. Oh, Johnny, go study for your math test. Swamp Thing don't have to know math. Ugh. They also made a pop bag. Bop bag. There, you happy? I like to say a pop because I pop it. But no, you bop it, dummy. It's a bop bag. Ugh. There it is, right there. Swamp Thing. And how about this? Chalk. If you didn't know, it says it right there on the package. I'm chalk. This means that some kid, probably a lot of kids, must have bought this thing and ate it. And as parents called up there complaining, they said, let's put chalk on it. The kids, no, it's not candy. But let's be honest. It's probably sold in the South, and old black women bought it because they like to eat chalk. I'm not making this up. I'm not being racist or anything. I live in the South. I know old black women like to buy chalk and eat it. I don't know why. I can go in the gas station. You can find it. It's chalk. It says do not eat. And you wait a while long enough, an old black lady will come in there and buy it, and you can see her in the parking lot eating it. I don't know why people eat chalk. I don't know why. Sounds disgusting. But that's it right there. That's a bunch of Swamp Things, mostly the Kenner line and some other related items. Hopefully they didn't make too much more. I mean, come on, Swamp Thing, right? But there it is, Swamp Thing. Let me know in the comments below what Swamp Thing you had. I bet you had those slippers.
Hey, Junkman channel popping though.
Thank you, sir, for that unsolicited testimony.